in Emporium. In the Philippines, I want to say magandang umaga ho sa inyong lahat. And for the people in the US watching this live at the Emporium, good evening, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to at least check it out. Check us out. Emporium is a unique US base, the first of its kind. Okay, the first of its kind. It's a Philippine-made and inspired product showroom and global business center. And its purpose is to create awareness as well as sales opportunities for Philippine-made products, services, and investments in the US market. And Emporium is actually a physical place. Like I said, that's where I'm at right now. It's located at 3250 Wilshire Boulevard, number 602 in Los Angeles, California. So if you want to come and visit, please do so. We welcome you. Just go ahead and let us know when you're coming. Thank you. But what the Live Emporium is, this is one of the tools that we use to create the awareness, the sales opportunities by people watching, and hopefully organically, or what we're doing on social media is reaching other people. And I think it is. At the end of the day, what we want is that awareness creation. Okay, so that's what Live at the Emporium is. And today it is packed full of amazing stuff. You know, when I first started this journey of promoting Philippine-made products in the U.S. market, I don't know if it was a journalist or some guy just asking me some weird question, but he says, how come there's not enough Philippine-made products in the U.S. market? And the day that I heard that question, it's always stayed with me. I'm trying to figure out, why is there not more Philippine-made products in the U.S., right? Hello, everyone. My name is Ferdinand Soriano. I am the co-founder of Emporium, as well as your host for this live edition, the special edition of Live at the Emporium. And to me today, it's going to be an interesting, basically show, okay? Because when we've got some really good professionals. Now we're billing the whole thing, or we're sort of promoting it as a fun, live, and no filter. And when I say no filter, these guests of mine, as professionals they are, they're going to get sort of raw with all of you when it comes to discussing why there's not more Philippine-made products in the U.S. market. And that's the topic for today. And the name of the show today is called Philippine Products 360, redefining Philippine-made products in the U.S. market. So why don't we join the guys that you're seeing right now, right there sitting, ready to go, ready to do whatever it takes to not only educate, but also entertain you and give you some amazing feedback on what needs to be done, basically, to create more opportunities for Philippine-made products. So let me go ahead and join them, okay? All right, guys, you are live. So why don't we get the conversation started? All right, so I don't even know where to begin. I mean, I don't want to be formal because this is all about being no filter, right? So why don't we just start telling everybody who you are, from right to left. So go ahead, Mike.
All right, Mike Pestano here. I'm an independent consultant. My consulting firm is Iron Eagle Management Consulting, and basically what I do in a nutshell is I help bring brands into mainstream retailers from birth to finish. And I mean finish, getting it into the mainstream stores. That's it in a nutshell. It's basically brand management from A to Z.
All right, so don't make me go point at you. Just go ahead, man.
Okay, I'm Marc Ang. Thank you, Bong, for having me. Super excited for today's show. I'm actually, in this capacity, I'm on the logistics side. So I work with a company called Port Alliance, and we do all like A to Z solutions when it comes to logistics and getting these Philippine products over from the Philippines to the U.S. and dealing with container ships, dealing with all things from rail to ocean to trucking, and getting it to the stores and getting it visible in the storefronts for people to purchase. So very excited to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. You see, you're being formal, man. Just say, hey, it's your turn.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mike, for that wonderful bio. I am Richard Villaluz. I am with Forex eShip. formerly known as Forex Cargo. We've been sending love back home for now going on 40 years. And we're, if you don't know Forex Cargo, which I'm sure most people don't, we're an intermediary, NVOCC. You know, we focus, we really specialize in sending love back home to the Philippines, but now we have a service definitely from Philippines to the US. And we also have other services, a la carte services. We also help brands get into the market in the Philippines, and we help brands get into the market in the US. And of course, we don't have enough time to talk about movies. So
There's only an hour
there's
show.
only an hour show, and I have
And
to
this
share
guy-
the wealth. I gotta share the wealth.
If this guy can talk like
Not-
wherever.
I'm really shy guy. I'm really a shy
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, so to me, we should have a 2-hour show.
Shy well, I'm-
everybody for an hour. Anyway, so if you haven't figured it out, the reason why I invited all these guys, not only they're good friends, they're we vibe right away, but they also bring to the table the different factors of bringing Philippine products here. So when you're looking at them, and by the way, we have a special guest also. Mark,
Lots
you
of
gotta
special
introduce-
guests. Oh yeah, we got Pugsley here, my dog who really wants to be in front of the camera, and also my goat Kambing.
I'm big.
There you go. Yeah.
Dinner.
I don't want to say anything about the goat.
Yeah.
Come bing.
Exactly. Let's put her on the plate. Not quite.
Anyway, so my point with these guys is that they bring something to the table that I think a lot of Philippine manufacturers need to sort of, take heed, or sort of maybe just take their feedback for what it is, because they've been doing what they're doing for quite a while now. And the feedback they're about to provide us is going to be enormous, like nuggets of wisdom. So why don't we get right to it? And the whole premise of today is not only to educate, like I said, elevate, and also empower, but we're also here to hopefully entertain. So if you're watching this and you want to tell us where you're watching, that would be great, so we can get an idea of what you guys think and where we're reaching. Now let's go ahead and start. Now, when I first started it, I said, how come there's not that many Philippine-made products? And this was back in 2013. To a certain degree, that comment, that's a loaded question. There has been Philippine-made products, but it hasn't made that same impact as all the other southeastern countries in the Philippines, the U.S. Some of these products, right? So that's why I think the question was asked. Now, the first question I want to go ahead and ask, and let's just throw it out there, and whoever wants to respond, okay? So the first question is more like, in regards to branding and packaging, what are some of the effective branding and packaging strategies that can help Philippine-made products stand out in the crowded U.S. market? That's a big deal, because it's one thing to take it, you compete with your Southeast Asian other countries, but also all the ones that are already here. So, anybody wants to jump in, go ahead and do that.
Well, packaging.
Yeah,
Good thing
I know you got
started
packaging.
out
Yeah. So
Because I have a lot to say about that, which may not be enough. But along to your point, when you said something you wanting to get more Philippine products in, and I've been thinking the same thing too for over a decade. The biggest opportunities I see are in improving the packaging to where it's for the mainstream American retailer, okay, and the mainstream American consumer, because the packaging that's being brought over here, from what I've seen in the earlier years, is it caters to the Pinoy consumer, even though they're here in America. But if you want to cross over to the mainstream one that just wants to get an idea of what Pinoy culture is about, you got to put your thinking hat on and think about how that package is going to look for the non-Filipino. Yeah.
Well, again, it's so when I speak to brands, right?
Yes.
And what you're saying is valid. But when I speak to brands, I really ask them, are you targeting the Filipino diaspora? Right? So that's a big
Yes.
question. So that's an important question. And most really don't know what to say, honestly. They just want to get into the US. They just want to be in the US, A lot of them don't have the bandwidth to be here. A lot of them don't have the experience, right? So that's why we're here
Yes.
to explain. But so if you're targeting the Filipino diaspora, this is wonderful.
Yeah. By the way, these are all Philippine made products.
These are wonderful.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, the first gen myself, and I'm a first gener. So this caters to me, right?
Yeah,
so this
totally.
caters to me because it's so. The reason why is look at Island Pacific and Seafood City. It's very successful.
What? I didn't hear you. What did you say?
Yeah, I'm not gonna have a shameless plug.
Okay.
But it's just it's there. Like I actually am drawn to these types of products. I go when I go back home, I bring this stuff in my maleta, right? So and that's why we have this, the new service being a ship with Forex, where people that want products from the Philippines that really want that can get in Seafood City. They order this. So really, that's another question that you would ask.
Yeah, for me as a consumer, I look at this and I go right away. It's limited to Ranch 99, and obviously the Filipino supermarkets. But I think a great example is Mike and I got so excited when ube ice cream was made available at Trader Joe's. And if you looked at Trader Joe's packaging of the ube ice cream, it was very mainstream. It looked like the other stuff that was on their shelves, leading people that normally would never look at that product to go pick one up. And I think, even as simple as font, colors, the simplicity of that packaging versus, say, a Magnolia or Selecta ube ice cream.
Right.
It was very just like the words, and the purple background, and sold in pints.
Right.
It was good to go. So people can pick it up along with their vanilla.
Did you feel that it still had that ethnic? Because the ube, that's very Filipino, right? Ube.
It took out the ethnic.
It took out the ethnic. Okay.
Completely.
So how does that make you feel though? Like as an American Phil-Am consumer?
I feel that the ube is strong enough and unique enough and Filipino enough that it can stand on its own.
Yeah, okay. There are some products that I feel like it's going to be like that, right? But at the same time, I'm bottom lining it sometimes. You want to get into this market, make some money, make some adjustments.
Right.
If you have to, because at the end of the day, you're here to create the livelihood. That's always sticks in my mind. So whether you adjust it or not, or you want to have your own products the way they are, that's fine. But at the same time, you have to be open to it. And that's what I've always said to the manufacturers, because certain products, the way they're packaging, like fonts, and then the wording sometimes. A word in the Philippines might not
translate over.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The humor in the Philippines is very different to the humor here, obviously, right? And then,
like this, roasted pilinat.
Yeah.
I have no freaking idea. If I didn't know what a pilinat was, I would.
Right.
What is that?
Yeah, and actually, like going back to that discussion right now, talking about pilinats, the one that brought the attention to the pilinat actually was not a Filipino company when I first encountered it about 6 years ago. It was actually a couple of American guys that went to Bicol and stayed there for a vacation. And then next thing you know, they came up with recipes, and then they brought it here to the U.S. And then I met them at the show, at the Expo West show, and I'm like, wow, it's like I felt like, this like a colonial takeover,
right?
It's like what happened with coconut. It's all the imperialists took over again. So that's. But to your point, there is a huge market. So whether you want to just tackle the Asian Filipino market, or you want to go big. If you want to really go for that home run,
right?
And get into like Walmart and bigger supermarkets, then you got to put your thinking cap on. But as you said, we want to bring more Filipino products in the mainstream, and the more we're able to sift through, and then look at okay, is this packaging going to fit? It may, because I've seen the type of packaging already work in Walmart, because they bring in the chippy, they bring in the clover chips, they even bring in the chicharron.
Right.
So there's really not a lot.
Speaking of that, I mean, can you expand on the recent one that you did? I mean, you attended a Natural Product Expo where they actually, how big that sucker is and what they were talking about, the Philippine products?
Yes. The recently finished Expo West last month, it's the world's biggest trade show for natural products. So natural products means like food stuff like this.
Organic.
Yeah, natural organic supplements. And there was about 80,000 attendees and I think 3,500 exhibitors from all over the world, and a few Filipino companies here and there, which to me is we're getting beat by there was a pavilion entirely for Taiwanese products, right?
That's another discussion.
Yeah,
altogether.
yeah,
Why are we getting beat?
Right.
Why the F are we getting
There
beat?
was more than a handful. There was about a dozen, more than a dozen. But
All right.
go ahead.
But it was more fragmented. And what I saw was like there's opportunities because we have great products. We're the leading producer of coconuts, we're the leading producer of like ube and moringa. Oh my gosh, like this got me really a little bit stirred up. I was drinking this energy drink that was given to me, fascinating.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Okay.
And the moringa drink tasted so good. It was a moringa tea, but it was not Pinoy. It was an American company which they source the moringa from India and the Philippines. And like it looks like it was neatly packaged in a red, kind of like a Red Bull can. And like, wow, there's opportunities in moringa because it's really going mainstream now.
If people don't know what a moringa is, it's right to your left there.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are some of the moringa products.
Yeah.
These are mostly tea. The one that you're talking about was mostly what, like a drink, like an energy.
Ready to drink.
Yeah.
Just like just like this one here.
Yeah. But that's not ready to drink because I actually opened one and it was I was halfway through it.
I think you got the wrong one.
You got the concentrate.
I got the concentrated.
This is the one that you were supposed to drink.
Oh my God! Yeah, we're gonna here.
Go ahead.
Okay, but I loved it because I love sweet stuff. So
wow,
that worked. But let me try how it's meant to taste because I was
really
okay.
bad? Is that really that? Oh.
All right, so that's mine. And
This is from a company called M2.
M2.
It's made out of malunggay, okra.
Right, and the superfood has been around.
Yeah, okra really attracted me. Okay, cheers,
guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheers.
Okay. Moringa tea, okra too.
When I first
good.
tasted it, it reminded me of Snapple or a sweet tea.
Yes.
Right?
It's very
I don't know.
It's
For all the
really
people,
good.
It's
It's got a hint of moringa.
This is what I guess you're talking about to a certain level. Okay. Obviously, everybody will have different varying degrees of opinion about the ingredients and how much is this, how much is that.
Right.
And it's encountered that. But anyway, to get back on track, to me, the thing that I always just am fascinated with the way products are marketed is, like I said, there's always going to be a need to tweak the product, right? Yeah. I'm sure you guys have your own stories of a product. You see, wow, you know what, marketing, this is a good product, but marketing wise, that's not going anywhere.
And that's how I feel. Like you said, it tastes too much like Snapple.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what is going to distinguish this from Snapple in the market? Because it tastes like peach Snapples.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I'm working with the manufacturer, the director right now here in the U.S. with this, and the thing is that the Snapple, as good as it is, it's supposed to be natural too. I like to think that if I'm going to be late, I'm going to be a lazy bastard and not worry about what I'm drinking. If I'm drinking something healthy, I think that's probably what gets me through the day drinking this stuff because it's got the malunggay, okra, and ginger.
Right. So those are the unique selling points of this.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you have to have that unique value proposition, right?
The okra is really interesting. How many drinks have okra out there, right?
Yeah, I know.
None. Malunggay, we could probably change it to moringa.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. The packaging can actually work. The color scheme and the style actually reminds me of like one of these American brands. Like I don't know if it's like something to do with this apple juice. It's a
Treetop.
Yeah. That reminds me of that.
I don't think so. It looks too Filipino.
Yeah, but it's still Filipino, but
it's
which is okay. Again, which is okay.
Yes.
Again, who are you targeting, right?
Right.
If these brands really just want to get in here and want to partner with a distributor and they just want to distribute through the channels of the Filipino supermarkets,
then that's a winner.
That's a winner also.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the next question because we got an hour, right?
Yeah.
That's a good segue. So the next question I probably want to ask you guys is this. I'm going to go ahead and show the next question, but it basically talks about the logistics and distribution that you just said. So let's hover a little bit on that one. So the question is, in my mind, my question, the heck? So what are some challenges and opportunities in terms of distribution and logistics for Philippine-made products in the U.S. market? I would think Mark would know a little bit about that.
But I also wouldn't.
I'm
But
sure
it's
you
okay,
would.
Mark.
Let me go ahead and
Mark.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the people that make these amazing products don't realize the costs of getting it here and getting it has to be in bulk. That's where the marketing and all the other stuff comes in, because you have to have a viable business, and for it to be able to sell in order for you to make a profit. But what I see a lot of Filipinos doing is jacking up the prices too much.
Yeah.
And the lack of understanding that, believe it or not, if it's sitting on a shelf and $4 versus $5 does make a big difference to the consumer. Because if you're shopping for your family and you're saying, I want just a dessert snack, you will go for the cheaper option because there's a lot of substitutes available.
Yeah, because for example, I guess this would probably sell for $350 at a Philippine store. But here I can say, looking at this size and type of packaging, this is like a $249, $99 type of tray. Right?
Yeah.
Or even
But Marc
$1.49.
makes some good points as far as the logistics costs as well.
Right.
That's what you're referring to.
Yep.
Also,
That's good. That's got to come in.
SRP. Yeah. So that affects obviously the SRP because of your cost of goods or landed goods, right? Landed costs. But there's a lot of other challenges too, like tariffs. Like obviously, the Philippines and the U.S. they have a good relationship, right? But there are still some barriers there. But as far as food and beverage is concerned, there's a lot of documentation, compliance, things like that, right? To be able to do that, FDA registration, DUNS, and DUNS is huge.
Yes.
I don't know why, more manufacturers in the Philippines don't get their DUNS, because it will make it easier, right? Because the FDA registration here in the U.S. so easy. So easy.
Yeah, and that's a tip,
Yes.
and he's correct about the DUNS. It's not just limited to the Philippines. A lot of other countries that I've dealt with, they don't have a DUNS, and then first thing you want to do is get money.
Yeah, and maybe they don't know, right? That's why we're here. Yeah.
Since I'm the host, anyone care to define what a DUNS is? DUNS, by the way.
You want to go ahead? Go ahead.
Well, basically the DUNS. I'm not going to
Dun and Bradstreet.
It's not DUNS.
It's
It's
Dun and
DUNS.
Bradstreet.
It's Dun and Bradstreet.
It's basically a company's, like when you register for one, it just shows you what your credit rating and what the company is about, and it's registered here in the United States.
And they also have, have it in other countries,
In other
as, well.
countries as well.
DUNS Philippines is there.
Yes.
And you know what? At the end of the day, in layman's terms, it makes you legit.
Yes. Yeah. That's what it is.
And it's free to get.
Here, let's retract that a little bit. Hold on. We don't want to say it's free 95.
No.
There may be some costs in the Philippines. I think there is some cost, and it's a little bit more difficult to get a DUNS in the Philippines versus a DUNS in the U.S. So
Right.
Again, there's a lot of sources out there that can assist you, Forex eShip, and other brands, another company. So.
And really, it speeds up the process, right? If you do the work in the back end and the front end, then it becomes smooth. And that's the whole thing about working with custom partners like our company, is we ease that process, and we deal with CFS, which is where your shipped goods have to go through a customs inspection. And then from
that's
there,
where you would definitely recommend a firm that wants to do business in the U.S. or the Philippines is to come up, have a customs broker as well.
Yeah.
See, I feel like when the stuff that I've gotten from manufacturers, some of their questions are all legit, of course, but I feel like their pain points is one, not knowing who to trust here to use, right, for freight forwarding. And that's why we always try to strive with making sure that we vet the people that we work with. But I feel like some of the challenges is not really getting an idea. At least reach out to a freight forwarder in the Philippines, right? If you're in the Philippines right now, talk to them or even talk to Mark, get a quote on how much it would be. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to figure that out too, logistically, because that's where the pricing that they just mentioned earlier. Because sometimes, hey, I'm going to send my product there, and then, you didn't realize the tariff was going to be X amount of dollars. And by the time you figured all this shit out, excuse my language, but it is shit out, then boom, there goes my margin. But the mindset really shouldn't really be so much, not making X amount of dollars right away in the beginning. Because if you're trying to enter it, that's a learning thing. Your first shipment should be something that you learn from, not necessarily profit from.
Right.
Right? I mean, I don't know, right?
Exactly.
That's my thinking.
I totally agree.
Totally.
I agree.
Yeah. I think every business should be prepared to, pay a cost for the learning aspect of it through one or two rounds. And, if you get in that mindset, then you won't feel defeated. You understand that, hey, that's the price of doing business, and then I can learn the next time. And you always want to have a process, because I see a lot of, especially Filipino business owners, and make these great products, but the math portion gets lost. And then they forget that, hey, there's a process, and I need to refine my process. Then I can adjust the pricing from there. But if you price it way too high, you're not going to have any customers.
And to your point about pricing, and there's this, and this is an ongoing thing I have with Philippine companies and some other companies outside of the US, is their misconception about what a markup is and what a margin is.
Amen.
So you need to really understand that here, it's not about marking up. It's about gross margin, net margins, and all that. And that's what you need to do your research on. Because the markup is simple, double the price. But have you factored in all the other things that these guys have said?
And you want to double the price.
Yeah.
I mean, for that profit, you're going to end up losing the customers. And do you want to just put it all in an advertising budget? I would prefer that the product is strong enough, like this, okay? Like, I really enjoy this. I take a bite of this.
Go ahead.
And I freaking
Yeah, he's been eating it.
Yeah, so
Let me taste this.
for kissing, that's your product right there. I intentionally did that.
See,
And it
Delicious.
tastes
Sunaku.
Sunaku. It's from a brand called Vegetari. It tastes like chicharron for all those chicharron lovers, but you could eat a whole freaking bag and not feel guilty about it, technically.
Because it's healthy.
Right? Because when I eat a chicharron, I like, oh my God, did I just really devour that? The whole bag.
That's really good. Really good.
It really
is good.
Yeah. Oh, and this product, speaking of Seafood City and Island Pacific, they're talking to them now. But I feel like this is those kind of products that will have a wider appeal, and he'll probably have a good size, margin, and be able to say, okay, one is plant-based, the packaging is decent, and the pricing, he just has to come to terms with what is, because there's a lot of similar products coming into market, but I still think that it still has a unique taste that you could do a little.
It's delicious. I love the aftertaste, but I really want to add this is, why are we just looking at Whole Foods, Sprouts, Walmart?
I don't know.
Why don't we look at, say, Latino stores like Vallarta? And, I think this would be a hit.
Vallarta is an awesome store.
Yeah.
Because of chicharron.
Because, the Hispanics have very similar, taste to,
Well, that's true. That's true.
So why not go there?
It depends on the brand. It depends on the relationship with the local distributor here in the U.S.
The peeling nuts too. They roast them. Do we taste that too?
Right. It depends on who they speak to. They speak to a Mike Pestano type of guy.
We got Pinoys going to the Hispanic markets, and they're buying chicharron there.
But have you noticed that too? That's why I'm saying to you, the opportunity for Philippine-Made products, especially if you know which one, it can actually cross over in certain markets. Like I said, the Hispanic market. Right? And I think we're selling it short. That's why I tell the people that are Philippine manufacturers, I said to them, it's great that we will have Filipinos tasting the product you want to market to them. But at the end of the day, sorry, Filipino community, the reality is that sometimes, familiarity breeds contempt, at least in my opinion. Okay, that's my opinion. Because then you become too critical of the product. For somebody who's never had chicharron or shrimp, all of this stuff, the pili, they'll go, damn, that's good. And that translates to more profits, because they're just thankful to taste it. But us being Filipino, I'm sorry, but to a certain degree, we will sort of be more critical of it. And I get that. Right? I mean, you see that all the time.
Yeah, but are we saying that this is not on the market? There are. And obviously, if you went to Expo West, you'll see that there is. I'm not saying it's saturated, but there's quite a bit of brands and manufacturers out there with some delicious, like you'd be like blown away, right? But again, depends on your target market, right?
That's on your target market,
right? So this one is, if this company is actually speaking to Seafood City, then kudos, hopefully they're in there.
And I think they need to do some updates on the design, because this definitely looks like a Filipino branded. But I think it's very simple. All you have to do is simplify, change the font,
Yeah.
and this could be very marketable to
Yeah,
mainstream
yeah,
stores.
especially like something like, like more of like a.
I actually like the
tasty
logo. The vegetarian is that already a
We
very good
changed
logo.
the font could be
Yeah.
played around with, on this one.
But that's definitely for those people that like plant-based stuff, the organic foods. This is definitely a winner.
Yeah.
And it tastes
You're not going to
delicious.
believe this, but just really quick, Mike.
Yeah.
The same company actually has, believe it or not, plant-based liempo, lechon, and chicken in the style
Wow.
frozen.
Okay.
And I'm
That's a huge
excited for
opportunity.
that.
That's a huge opportunity because it's not just limited now to Whole Foods, Sprouts, and health food stores. Every grocery that I talk to,
Vegetarian.
they're looking for sustainability,
Mhm.
plant-based, healthy lifestyle.
Mhm.
That's, especially from what happened in the last few years. Now they're making it more emphasis on like giving people better choices, even though you're not claiming to be a health food, in itself. But just a few tweaks in there can fit that.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
And before, I'll end that question with logistically, again, the challenges. I feel that one, it's a challenge, but it's just a matter of education, really, because some of the things that I've encountered through the years is that, okay, I ship the product here. Maybe I don't have a big presence yet, or I don't have a deal, right? And that's one of the actually things that Emporium is trying to do is bring products in here slowly but surely. Really educate yourself on the classification of your products, the taxes of the products, because those are going to be the critical part of trying to figure out what your expenses will be and how you're going to price it. And then, casually look in Amazon to see what's priced similar to that.
Speaking of Amazon,
Exactly.
Right,
here's
right.
my Amazon guy.
Yeah, he's the guy. Okay, so that's why I kind of segue that over there. But legit, okay, we'll go into the next question. But that's what I want to end with, the logistics part, because that's going to play a big part in how you guys are going to price your products. Right. Okay. So the next question, let me go ahead and pose it on the board. Is this is right up your alley? That's why I set that up for you.
Perfect timing.
The question is, how can Philippine-made products effectively market themselves in the U.S. market, especially in the area of social media and e-commerce? Take it away.
Bam.
Man, it's you, man.
It's
you.
me.
Yeah, it's you.
Again, it's with the pricing and if you're focusing on Amazon, again, the target markets could be very broad, right? So you have the Philam, you have the diasporas. The opportunity is endless. So when I focus on brands in the Philippines, whether they're export ready or they look very Pinoy, I myself, I'm actually looking for the more Pinoy because of that's my strategy at that point.
Well,
Okay, so that's my strategy at that point.
Mhm.
Okay, there's another aspect to it, that we can get into. Obviously, that's another conversation, or it could be a conversation that we can have now. But but Philippine products that they sell, let's just say at a drugstore in the Philippines, that's very popular. That's not offered here. People are looking for that product, so I'm going to list that product on Amazon, right? So whether it's the brand that's going to be coming over, or if it's an individual here who wants to sell on their own Amazon account, who want that business,
Mhm.
that's what they need to focus on. That's what they need to think about, what their strategy is really, right? So, but I don't really see any challenges as far as selling it on social media or other third-party marketplaces. It's really the challenge is really getting it here.
Yes.
Logistically,
Yeah.
the cost. Do you have the finances to scale your business?
Right.
So do you have, because there's also warehousing fees that you have to think about, right? Logistically, distribution. Are you going to be partnering with 3PLs? So there's a lot of factors. So
See, with you, I think that with your platform, and what was the platform called?
Colo Pacific.
There you go.
Yes.
This platform, you just check it out, because I always want credibility and for you guys to vet what we're saying here. And Richard is amazing what he does. This guy stays up late making sure certain products, and I get what he's saying in terms of what He likes the Filipino stuff, but he's not technically marketing it to Filipinos. Yeah. So that's the thing. So I like that part, and his specialty is in the e-commerce line when it comes to that. I mean, he does other things, but at the end of the day, that's what I look at him as far as getting some feedback on it. But how about you? What do you think of what else we need to do? The question again is, especially in the area of media, social media, and e-commerce.
Well, it's a very important segment. I just had a meeting yesterday with 8 of the brands that I manage, and the biggest discussion now is like there's a big shift going over now towards your own online presence, and what they're finding is that you get more bang for your buck, developing and selling your own brand through your own channels. So whether it be Amazon or through your own website, because one, you capture the customer on your own, right? Because if you're just going to rely on like Whole Foods or the Kroger's, all these big supermarkets, what we're finding is that yes, it's important to get into the brick and mortars, but that where the world is heading right now, and these are American companies that I'm talking to, they're seeing the shift where that's why it's so important. Okay, that you have a presence on Amazon, but then that's where the social media influencers. Actually, these companies actually pay social media influencers to pitch different types of products. So you really need to get up to speed with your TikToks, with your Instagram, Facebook. It's kind of you still have it there, but based on what you've also experienced, where you get more bang for your buck, doing Google SEO, Amazon sponsored ads. That's where it's heading, and that's where the opportunity is for Filipino brands, wherein like you don't have to pay somebody $150,000 to just figure out how to get into the American market, and some companies have actually done that, paid $150,000 and got no results out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I think as a consumer, I really look at, these days, everything is Yelp, right? It's social proof. It's when people will say, oh, this is good, and that makes me look at a new product and try something new when it's a recommendation from a friend. And so the world has shifted from a real top down, like you said, people paying $150,000 for an ad campaign. Yeah. That's almost become obsolete. It has to be bottom up. It has to be user crowdsourced.
Yeah.
And that's when there's a good product now, is that word of mouth.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that more and more. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but at the end of the day, every valid point, strong online presence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you don't have any followers on your social media,
get your family and friends.
Get it going, organically, just get it going first. Don't spend money to get those likes. And then leverage influencers, like Mike said, leverage influencers. SEO is so key. You have to have a strong website, first of all, first and foremost, very information driven, right? So, because that gets you on Google and gets you the backlinks, on your social media. If you have food, put recipes there, and then, attach your brand to it. And then you'll have backlinks too, especially on your website. Have the recipes on your website, have a blog, right, on your website, and that will create backlinks that will take customers like myself.
So in order to do that, you really need to know your selling points.
Yeah.
You need to know, and it can't be like, oh, I'm the greatest at everything, right? Focus on 2 or 3 things that really make your product, strong and that's going to click with the users, and then highlight the crap out of it.
Right.
And there's an actual experience that I got from Expo West last month when I actually presented to one of these big national chains. And one question she asked me, aside from tearing apart the packaging, which I'll tell you guys later, first thing she asked is like, how many total followers do you have across all social media platforms? And I'm like, I had to be honest, and I said, it's under 1,000. And she looks at me, under 1,000. And is that in the US? And I said, no, it's in another country. She says, I don't care if it's the best thing since sliced bread, but if you don't have any followers here in the US, how are you going to expect to drive business into my stores? And I'm going to put a lot of space and investment into your brand. Tell me how you're going to do that. What is your go-to-market strategy?
It's,
And I'm like,
it's tough. Yeah.
whoa, you don't have to be that nasty.
Yeah, a lot of brick and
She
mortar.
got raw on you, man.
Yeah, but it's the truth.
It is the truth.
Oh my gosh, how are you going to drive the American traffic, American consumer? You know, that it's unless you have that really unique selling point or unique selling ingredient, you know, that you know, nothing proprietary, but just something unique, that blend that nobody can emulate, right?
Yeah.
So
I think, you know, when you guys are talking about influencers and things like that, and I, you know, that's all about the marketing budget too that falls into that. It's not the campaign anymore, but now instead of an ad campaign agency, it's going to be more like social media manager that you got to have to be able to do what you guys just said.
Yes.
And to me, you know, this is a plug for Emporium. For us, it's really also very organic that we understand all that. That's the reason why a lot of the times we're trying to work with some of the social media companies or social media managers of a lot of these brands in the Philippines and figure out a way to coincide with what they're doing and sort of sync in with what Emporium is trying to do. Because at the end, the way I'm trying to do this is that we're trying to put Emporium in that mindset where now you can say your products is in the U.S. A small way to even distribute the products even before you get to these guys.
Yes.
Because the reason why these guys are here is because when you get to the level of talking to these guys, you are already at that certain level of volume. But that's why, to me, I feel like we still need to encourage a lot of the Filipino manufacturers to just try it anyway and do baby steps. And that's the reason why all these things that we're doing is trying to educate you with that. So you guys want to end that question with anything else interesting that you guys
Good.
want?
Let's move on.
What I would, just to finish off on this particular segment, is let everyone know that there are success stories I've seen. And it's not just from Phil, but they are Phil-Ams, but they took recipes from their Lola, Nanay, and they made it into a successful brand that got into several national chains. And I met one of those brands, and he developed his own following organically here before he got accepted. So don't be discouraged. Like you may have something like a hidden recipe, a secret recipe that may just stick with the palate of people here, and we've seen that at the show. I mean, I saw like at least 10 companies with different chili crisps.
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah,
So that's just
I love them all.
yeah.
I'm gonna go interrupt you guys and sort of end that question with this product, right? We're gonna do a taste.
Let me down this. Let me get this ice tea.
Clear the palate, gentlemen. But you see, like this product, unique, right? It's ube. That's what it is, ube liqueur. So a lot of people can sort of take notice of this. That this just stands out by itself. Not only if you were here, I'd let you taste. Obviously, it's so good. But at the end of the day, it's the packaging.
The
too.
packaging is
I love
amazing.
the
The packaging is amazing.
Yeah.
I have to be honest. I have not tasted this yet.
Okay, you got to taste.
I haven't
It
tasted
looks like a Godiva or something.
It does.
Yeah, it's
You're
very
right.
high-end.
You're right.
Tastes
It
a
does
little
look.
high-end.
It does look
More.
Godiva-ish.
From the packaging alone,
It looks like ube.
that can definitely go into like.
It's definitely. Oh, this is amazing. We're talking premium.
Look at
That's
this.
premium liqueur right
Yeah.
there.
You see, but this particular brand, maybe I might be talking out of turn.
Holy
It has its
So
challenges also.
dude.
Yeah, right.
So,
Are you guys end up taking all? You want to do more?
Dude, I needed a little bit more.
I could drink the whole bottle if it's.
and I'm driving, but
Hey, guess who's going to join us today?
Who?
The Trade Commissioner of the Philippines. I'm patching him in now.
All right.
All right. So, again, you see the product. It's amazing.
The packaging.
Hey, guys,
is so
cheers.
it's the best.
But if you look at it, it
This is
has its
a-
challenges. Believe it or not. Okay.
There you go.
So look at this thing. You could probably think it's dessert, and then you'll be drunk by the time you realize.
This is
it's
amazing.
alcohol.
It's so good.
Okay, so let me go ahead and introduce the Philippine Trade Commissioner, Trade Investment
Cheers.
Center Commissioner here in Los Angeles, the one and only Mr. El Nar. Hey, Eric, we're drinking your liqueur now. Is that okay?
It's 5
Yeah.
o'clock somewhere.
Yeah,
Is this
so
Eric's
good.
liqueur?
No. That's his.
Oh,
that's
this is his favorite.
No, he knows the people that are.
Oh, he knows
trying
the
to put that.
peeps?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's got two of them. So I stole it from him, right, Eric?
That's
Yep.
national.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got this. Has got to be. We gotta make this an entire like the iconic drink of the Philippines.
Eric, after the show, you and I have a conversation. All right, you and I have a conversation. All right, no, seriously,
That's a hit.
no joke.
Yeah.
Even the goat likes it. Look at that. Come on.
Anyway, Eric. So go ahead and talk a little bit about yourself and what we're doing here at Emporium, and give us some sort of a perspective on your end as far as Philippine manufacturers, what they're thinking for this year and years to come. I mean, obviously, there's a new administration and a new DTI leader, so obviously we just want to tell our audience a word of encouragement and also encouragement in the Philippines as well as here.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Eric. I'm the head of the Philippine Trade and Investment Center in Los Angeles. What we do, am I coming in?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we do is we promote exports from the Philippines, like those products in front of you, as well as encourage investments from the U.S. going into the Philippines. So I'm glad that you're enjoying all of those, small business products from the Philippines. Very unique, I would say, like ube liqueur. Who would have thought, right? That you could make ube liqueur. And then
All I know is tastes like dessert. These guys are going to get drunk soon. I mean, they might start eyeballing that other one that you have. It's not open yet.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's like we're doing pulutan here.
Oh yeah.
No,
So
that is a legitimate hit.
That's delicious.
So ube liqueur, that is something that, what I understand, came out of during the pandemic. So the owners have a bar in Poblacion, Makati, if you've been. So, and then of course during the pandemic, everything closed down, including the bars and restaurants, right? So what they thought of is, instead of offering services or service in the service industry, like they made products. So they have a distillery in Aklan near Boracay. Could you imagine? And they came up with this drink, ube liqueur. So ube is all the rage here in the U.S. You see ube everywhere, and ube has become, not only a Filipino word or a Filipino term, a Filipino name for that crop, but it's just become part of the it's everywhere. It's let's see if we could open the other one.
I think it's almost gone, Eric. I think it's almost gone. We're eyeballing your other one.
So
It's almost gone, but it's not gone yet.
there. In terms of the new administration, we have an administration that's friendly to the U.S. Our president is has visited the U.S. I think last November, and is expected to visit again this year, at least twice. One for a state visit and another one to attend the APEC Leaders Summit in San Francisco. So, we are dovetailing on all of this good, bilateral relationship between the Philippines and the U.S. And hopefully we could bring more small business products, SMEs, we call them in the Philippines, small and medium enterprises, to the U.S. and not only to the Filipino-American market, but hopefully to the mainstream market as well.
You know what, Eric? I want you to join us on this next question. Just jump in at any time, because I think it's going to be right up there with what you do for the Philippine manufacturers or Philippine trades investments in the U.S. market. So I'm going to go ahead and pose the question, only if I can bring it up. Let me see. The question is, hold on. While you're doing that, you guys can jump in. I mean,
Well, I'm just
Whatever you want to do.
flabbergasted. I think this is a great starting point.
Yeah, I think it's a model for what a good product is, from packaging
I mean,
to
come on.
the flavor.
That's Pinoy pride right there.
Yeah, that's really
And it's
the
exotic, but at the same time,
It's amazing.
luxury.
relatable. Yes, yeah, and it's just got a lot of things going for it.
They
It's
really-
got an award too, world's best liquor, world liquor awards rather, world's best cream.
So all these guys, Derek, will be talking to you soon.
Yeah. No,
I'm gonna order some for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I know it still has its challenges, right, Eric? Like I was telling everybody, as good as this product is, there's still some regulatory or compliant issues that needs to be addressed, right? So that's how I'm going to lead into our last question. Okay, so the question is, how can Philippine-made products ensure consistent quality and meet the regulatory standards required for distribution in the U.S. market? So, got great product. It probably can command premium pricing because of the way it is, right?
Mhm.
But now, how do we deal with that, part? How do we, make it compliant to be able to get into the U.S. market? And that's probably one of the challenges that Philippine Products has done. I don't know if sometimes it's budgetary reasons. It could be they just don't know and they need to be more educated about it. I have no idea. Maybe my professionals here can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
You go
Okay,
on.
so
go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Eric.
Go ahead.
yeah,
Eric.
so for
Eric,
us,
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. For us in the government, we help them from the Philippine side. So we have the Export Marketing Bureau under the Department of Trade and Industry. Basically, they help exporters deal with the regulatory requirements in the U.S. And then from our side here in the U.S., when we match them with importers, we make sure that they are aware of all of these regulatory hurdles, especially alcohol, which is heavily regulated. Although it can be daunting, but to an experienced importer, they can easily take care of this. One I would say requirement that is the starting point is the FDA. Regulations or FDA permits. So FDA in the Philippines, as long as they have FDA in the Philippines, US FDA would recognize most of it. So that's they're already halfway, I would say, if they have FDA compliance. And then we help them even with product development, even with packaging. You've been raving about the packaging. We're trying to elevate the level of our products from the Philippines, and we share with them whatever we see in the market. So those are some of the things that I could share, and I'm sure our experts there have a few things also to contribute.
Yeah, I was thinking actually that, I think a goal should be to move a lot of the production here. So if you wanted to have an American presence, instead of trying to import the liquor
Yes.
from the Philippines over here, just have the recipe here and then produce it in an American soil. And then that would bypass all of the need for dealing with customs as well. And then you can also probably have economies of scale if you have a location here. So these are type of things that always think out of the box. But I think that's where a lot of the product developers really need to put their mind in what is the easiest and simplest and cheapest way that I can make my product and get it to the customer overseas.
If I can
Another
quickly
option.
comment on that.
Yeah. Another
Sorry.
option to what Mark
Okay,
was saying.
go ahead, Eric.
No, sorry. I just want to quickly comment on what he said last time. So, in terms of the manufacturing here in the U.S. for Philippine brands, it's happening, especially for products that are banned or not yet accepted in the U.S. For example, meat products. So big brands in the Philippines would have them manufactured in the third country, which is accepted in the US or in the US itself. So yeah, it's already happening, and it's really an option. But of course, for me personally, I would want the products really to come from the Philippines, because when it comes from the Philippines directly, it helps a lot of people have employment. It redounds to our economy. It gives a lot more value, I would say, to the Philippine people. Not to discount that option, and it's also important to consider that, especially when you're brand building in the U.S. So instead of other people using your brand, or maybe other people copying the key aspects of your brand, then might as well have it all manufactured here, if under your brand, if that's the only option that you have. Yeah, go ahead.
No,
I'm about to say something, sir.
I agree with both Mark and Eric. I actually agree, because I've had experience with a few brands and manufacturers that actually had the opportunity to do what Mark said and what you said.
Mm-hmm.
And with ours was with a meat company in the Philippines, and we had the recipe. They want us to look for a canning company here. We found one. It's not a problem, meat. But the thing is, we were like, most of our consumers and our clients, and myself included, really wanted the authenticity of that Philippine product. Is the taste going to be the same? Yes, the recipe is going to be the same, but the meat's going to be different. And at the end of the day, if you do that and you manufacture and you can and you tool pallets load, and the taste is. Obviously, you have to do some testing first. You wouldn't just pull the trigger.
It's kind of like New York pizza, right? New York pizza will always never be the same outside of New York.
Right.
Even though people have imported the water and ovens and.
Right. How about the speaking of this particular product? How about this? Where couldn't you do like I don't know the manufacturing wording, but a component marketing where you combine all the products, and then maybe you added here or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of what I was going for.
I wonder if that's the same thing,
That's
Eric.
true on the regulation, because I noticed, because it's in dairy.
Yeah.
You know how protective the U.S. is of the dairy market here. Then you're going to get the Department of Agriculture of the United States involved. In this, because we had this issue wherein they limit Canadian products coming in because it's a threat to American farmers. So same thing we want to look at here is like maybe it's a better selling point because the cows there are better.
Yeah.
But then we will have to look into the USDA's
It would have to
regulation.
depend on the
You'd have to do
what
that.
is necessarily the cream concentrate. What is that exactly?
Yeah, because here's my thought. Okay, good or bad? I'm just thinking, like, for example, there's just my opinion again. But sometimes when you when you go to Panda Inn, right? Okay, you notice the Chinese food. Okay, it's a little bit kind of odd to me. It's not as authentic.
It's American.
It's Americanized. Yeah.
So maybe having two versions or something of it, because you can have where it's made for the market, but there's one that's authentic. Whatever you want to call it.
How about working your way up too? Because a lot of times you just got to get the job done in the beginning to get the product out there and on the shelves, and then make it more authentic as you go along.
Yeah.
But I get it. Remember, it all boils down to who your target market is, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I keep saying it: Filipino diaspora,
or
you go
Americans.
authentic, or you want global.
Yeah.
So
I see this as a global brand going through. All the liquor stores in the bars.
Yes.
When I think about the livelihood, the fact that the main ingredient is the ube.
Yeah.
I still think you're touching on creating the livelihood part of it. You're still creating that because what's the trade-off? I don't know. I'm not good with numbers to a certain degree. The trade-off of the amount of ube that you'll sell, and then maybe skimp a little bit on the other side of it, but you're selling so much ube, right? Because it's authentic. Then that may make up a little bit of the fact that maybe it's made here.
It's for every company to make their own decision. And I just want to say this about Jollibee, for example. Jollibee came here, and their food is very different from the Philippines. Yeah. Special, and the pabo tastes a lot less sweet than in the Philippines. So they adjusted to the market here, and their flagship product was the Chicken Joy.
Great mind. Great mind.
You know,
we have the same thing. We have the same thing. I was going to use them too, just like San Miguel. So the reason why Jollibee is so successful because of the brand itself, right? So they focus first on the Filipino diaspora, right? That's what they focused on, that diaspora marketing. They really adjusted their menu to the American.
Yeah. And you see it in social media now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And non-Filipinos, they just so many influencers and YouTubers are all about the crispiness of the Jollibee, but also San Miguel. Though. Look at San Miguel. Yeah. They found a niche. They found a niche. It's more of a premium now. Yeah. They market it as a more premium beer brand.
And that's not like that in the Philippines.
Right.
It's like the Bud Light.
Yeah.
It's Bud Light. I like it. It's 12:59, and these guys can go another hour, but I promise that we do it in an hour's time. And Eric also has, I'm sure, appointments also. But I just appreciate for people watching it live now or people who are going to watch this recording, I'm going to market the crap out of this interaction here because we have a lot of nuggets, again, going back to what I said originally, that you guys should take into consideration. But we're going to do a lot more show. Hopefully these guys will have the time to do it. But I'm sort of done with, very formal discussion. I would rather have these sort of, we're just shooting the shit or the breeze, whatever. Yeah. And because then hopefully you share this, tell everybody else, but that's what we intend to do. We want to be educating a lot of people, but entertaining them, but being real as opposed to the opinions of whether a product is great, your product sucks, or all of that. At the end, by doing all this, hopefully we can uplift the brand, the Philippine brand, and create more livelihood, which is that's the bottom line. I don't give a crap about awareness. I don't really give a crap. I'll say that again, or even go to the point where I don't give a shit. The reality is that we need to sell products so that you can create the livelihood in the Philippines. All the talk about awareness, that's amazing, but we need to do that.
Can I say something though, really fast before? We all have the passion. I can feel it. I can feel it from Eric, all of us. Well, Eric, he's the commissioner, so it's part of his job. It's part of his job. But for us, I feel that the passion of giving back to the Filipino community, I think we all have that in us. Important. Yeah, it's whether it's a corporate responsibility, social responsibility, whatever it is.
But I'm not woke.
Ditto.
You're not woke.
No woke.
All right. Okay. If you guys want to say something really quick, go ahead. Mike, you want to end it?
Thank you so much, Ferdinand, for inviting myself and everyone here. It's a great opportunity to open the doors to discussion on how we can really help and give back to our community in the Philippines and to help those budding entrepreneurs. Who knows? You might come out, be on Shark Tank or even better.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I just want to say, make those great products and, work with people, leverage others that know what they're doing, whether it's me on the logistics side and getting these products over here or the marketing minds that we have here to package it so we get to maximum end users.
Richard?
I said what I said about the passion, giving back to the Filipino, but at the end of the day, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Smash that like button, share, hit that bell, so can share. But we really thank you, Ferdinand. Thank you, Eric, for having us here.
Thanks,
Eric. Awesome.
Eric, you want to say something before I end the show, my friend?
Sure. And I would apologize on behalf of Ferdinand. That's not his usual choice of words. It's really the Obelicor maybe talking, but. Honestly, I think more than the Ubilicor, it's the passion. It's his passion to promote Philippine products that's really talking, and it shows. No,
it was. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the Baileys.
No, but it's really good. I mean, I just say that because at the end, I've been doing it for a while, and I see the struggles of some of the Philippine manufacturers to get into the market, and awareness is critical. But in the end, we have to always drill down, how do you sell it?
Basics.
The basics of it. Because it's just like when they were in the Philippines, when they first started their business, they needed to understand how to do that there. But now they just have to understand, go down to the basics and do the same way. How do we do that? How do we create those buying opportunities for that? But Eric, thank you for being, a sport. Thank you for giving us your time to give us perspective on the Philippine trade and investments. the status there and what they're trying to do. So with that being said, I hope you guys will continue to tune in. Our next show will be about live selling next week, and then we're going to be attending a pop-up event in San Diego where we get to promote these products at an actual pop-up event. And those are the little marketing things that Emporium is constantly trying to do and figure out, trial and error, and how to promote Philippine-made products and be cost effective and hopefully sustainable. So with that being said, guys, I will say bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Currently live in Emporium.